Welcome to BDSM. Bloody, dreadful, shite, movies.
This is Chris.
Hello there.
And some people say he has questionable taste in movies. So he's on a mission to see if this is true. By watching the most painfully bad movies he can find and try to enjoy them. He'll be scoring each movie based on 5 categories. 1. Did he find it entertaining in any way? 2. Did it have a good story idea? 3. Was it boring? 4. Will he ever watch it again? 5. Would he recommend anyone else to watch it?
Hello and welcome back to the BDSM Cinematic Dungeon. Don't mind the noise. I've got a group enjoying Alabama Hot Pockets while watching Godfather Part 3. Shut up! So, before I jump into my epic journey into the world of In the Name of the King, I'd like to introduce you to another new segment. Cinematic Kinks.
I don't care if you're into kink.
So, instead of giving films a good kicking, I'm going to give them some love. Sweet love. So first, is 2004's Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
This is Radio Dispatch. Emergency Protocol 90306. Calling Sky Captain. Come in, Sky Captain.
Stars Jude Law and Gwyneth Paltrow. This really reminds me of the old 50s movie serials, like Read All Men to the Moon, bit of Flash Gordon, and all those that I really like as a kid. I know it's not the greatest film, but I love it. Next is 2017's Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets.
Hi! Yes, sure, of course. Bill, can I have my camera, please? Thank you. Say cheese. Thank you, Bill.
Which is based on the French comic series Valerian and Lorelei. And the movie is written and directed by Luc Besson. I find it a fairly entertaining sci-fi romp. My only problem with it was his name. Dunderhain?
Where's the band?
You plan on going on a mission just like that?
We're supposed to mingle with tourists, aren't we? What do you expect us to wear, a panda suit?
Nice hat.
I can't say his fucking name for saving my life. Being cast as Valerian, it's total miscasting. He just hasn't got the charisma like the comics. The film, it's fairly entertaining. I quite like it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And last but not least, 2000's Dungeons and Dragons, starring Jeremy Irons.
Let their blood rain from the sky!
Who overacts like a pro. And Marlon Wayans.
I'm gonna tell y'all the rules to survive this situation. Rule number 1, you gotta be quick. Rule number 2, don't fall down. And rule number 3, whatever you do, never look back. Y'all wish me luck.
And a 5'3" dwarf. This film is silly, campy, and accidentally funny. Jeremy Irons, he knows it's a shit movie, but he's going for it anyway. So, these films are totally my cinematic kink.
As I was telling the gentleman earlier, I'm a sick man.
The new cubes from Boll. Have you seen them yet? Well, they're made just the way a good cube should be. Perfect for all your red meat cooking. They're packed with good, meaty flavor and seasoning to bring out the best in your cooking. Boll made them to crumble easier, dissolve faster, to help make rich, brown gravy they'll love. Believe me, these new cubes from the Boll people bring out the best in your cooking. Cubes from Boll. Try them. You'll buy them.
And I'm not doing that again.
Now it's my epic journey into the fantasy of shitty movies. The Name of the King films are inspired by the video game series Dungeon Siege. and directed by Uwe Boll. For those of you who don't know who he is, he's an infamous movie maker who became famous during the 2000s with his adaptations of video game franchises like the god-awful Alone in the Dark, his very, very cheap House of the Dead, Blood Rain, and Far Cry, to name but a few. Also, he likes to challenge his critics to boxing matches.
Round 1, fight!
So I think I best watch what I say. Just wondering how I should do this. Should I do them all together? One at a time? I know. Let's get to tell them what they're all about, and I will score them one at a time. Okay? So, the first is a dungeon siege tale.
A man named Farmer sets out to rescue his kidnapped wife and avenge the death of his son, 2 acts committed by the Krugs, a race of animal warriors who are controlled by the evil Galleon.
Which has an all-star cast of Jason Statham, Ron Perlman, Ray Liotta, John Rhys-Davies, Matthew Lillard, and Burt Reynolds. It has a rating of 3.8 on IMDb and a bum-numbing runtime of 2 hours 45 minutes, with such great reviews like this.
The title itself brings great curiosity, but like all Uwe Boll movies, this one bears his marks. Still, he hasn't matched his previous record with the Blood Rain series, so no comment. Awful. My rating is 1 out of 10 because I can't give 0, it's not a mark. Everything is bad. Bad script, bad play, bad actors, bad backgrounds, bad story. Uwe, please stop making movies which have roots in games. You make the games look bad.
Next is Two Worlds.
An ex-Special Forces soldier gets thrown back to medieval times to fulfill an ancient prophecy and ends up finding redemption for his own battlefield experiences.
Which has a not-so all-star cast. It stars Dolph Lundgren and some actors you've seen in small roles and in TV shows and movies. You don't know the names, but you've seen them. And it has a rating of 3.1 on IMDb, which doesn't fill me with joy, but at least it has a runtime of 1 hour 36 minutes, and such great reviews like this.
It amazes me that people are still giving this guy money to make movies. He has yet again demonstrated that he should never ever make another movie again. The story was probably one of the worst ideas he has had yet. After the last movie with a great cast being, yet another, total letdown, I didn't have high expectations on this one. Even with the extremely low expectations I had going into this one, it was worse than I could possibly imagine. The acting was mediocre, and the overall plot was not interesting at all. I was ashamed that Dolph even took the part in this movie. Save your money and don't bother with this.
And last but not least is The Last Mission.
A modern-day assassin, wanting out, is hired for one final job, to kidnap the kids of a local businessman. Things go haywire when it turns out he's chosen to return to the Middle Ages and bring back order to a kingdom in chaos.
Starring Dominic Purcell. Is it Purcell? Purcell, I don't bloody well know. Who was in Prison Break and DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Heatwave. And nobody I've ever heard of or seen ever. It has a rating of 3 on IMDb and a runtime of 1 hour 26 minutes, which is slightly less than Two Worlds, thank fuck, with great reviews like this.
No need in writing anything, it doesn't deserve the effort. Avoid at all costs. I would rather clean the toilet than watch this garbage again. I found the fake reviews hilarious. 90% of the reviews for this film are fake, made by members that, surprise, joined IMDb the same day they wrote their review, and they only have one review written, the one about this film. The only thing this film is good at is being a bad example, so if you are into learning how not to make good films, watch it.
So, let's hope this Uwe Boll marathon is not a mistake. Let's watch this bitch.
Krug, savage armed Krug. They killed off our entire scouting party.
Sacrilege. I believe it was Galleon. He has fallen into madness. Your king needs you.
In my world, the king's arm is expected to protect the kingdom, not just the castle.
The king has been poisoned. Galleon is raising armies. Vast armies.
Those who you fight, we will help you fight them.
2,000 years later.
Holy shit, my ass is numb.
That was the longest night of my life.
Right, let's get scoring these twats. So, did I find them entertaining in any way? Let's start with Dungeon Siege Tale. It was fairly entertaining. Great fantasy romp. Some really silly action set pieces, which I won't spoil because they are funny. Yeah, it's cheesy fun. Ray Liotta, he likes chewing the scenes. Everybody's pretty good. The acting's passable. So I find that fairly entertaining. So it scores 1 point. Right, Two Worlds. Now, that isn't entertaining whatsoever. The first half of the movie is basically exposition, and then it's just dire. I'm not even going to say if there's any entertaining bits whatsoever. I can't even think of any. No, scores a 0. Next, The Last Mission. It's fairly entertaining, which I was surprised about. Some oddly comedic moments. It was alright. What else to say? It was alright. So, it scores a point. Next, did they have a great story idea? Dungeon Siege Tale. It has a feel of an odd mashup of Lord of the Rings, the First Chronicles of Druss, with a hint of Zelda. It's not bad. Average fantasy fare. Scores 1 point. Two Worlds. It basically feels like a rejected Stargate plot, with a rip-off of Disney's Spaceman in King Arthur's Court. It's alright. It's basic stuff. The plot could have been good, but it was poorly executed, but it's get a point. Last Mission. Basically, it's just like Two Worlds. Another rip-off of a Disney's Spaceman in King Arthur's Court, but with a John Wick fighting knights and dragons. So that scores a point. So, were they boring? Dungeon Siege, it was a bit long. The fight's a bit drawn out. Could have been tighter editing, cut a few bits out. So, it's not going to get a point for that. It made it less boring. Still watchable, but... Next, Two Worlds. It was boring as shit. Somehow, Uwe Boll managed to make an hour-and-a-half movie feel like a feckin' lifetime. It's so plodding. Dolph Lundgren talking and talking and talking. He's not the greatest talker in the world. Fucking exposition. So fucking boring. And then it's walking through a forest for the rest of the runtime. Oh my god, it was dull. So that scores a big fat 0. Right, The Last Mission. Far less boring than Two Worlds. The pacing was a bit slow, but it wasn't too bad. It cracked on a little bit, and being slightly less than Two Worlds. At least it felt like an hour and a half, not felt like a feckin' lifetime. So, it gets a point. Will I ever watch them again? Dungeon Siege Tale. I'd watch it again. It's not bad. A bit slow, but other than that, not too bad at all. Two Worlds. No way in hell will I ever watch that again. Well, I say that. If I ever want to fall asleep, I'd probably watch it. Scores a 0. Last Mission. And more enjoyable than Two Worlds, but I've watched it. It's not really the greatest film ever, so I probably won't watch it. So, would I recommend anybody else watch them? Dungeon's Tale? Don't go out your way to watch it, but if there's nothing else on, and you fancy a bit of a laugh, Ray Liotta biting the scenery, it gets a point. Next, Two Worlds. I'd only recommend this to people I feckin' hate, because it's just too fucking boring. If it's on, don't even attempt it, unless you want to fall asleep. It's like movie night nurse. Next, The Last Mission. It was a bit more fun. I'd say give it a watch, but it's no special. So, it gets a 0. So what are the scores on the doors, Miss Ford? And, in last place, it's Two Worlds. It scores 1 point, which is definitely stuck up the cinematic stink.
You stink, mister.
Next is The Last Mission. Scores 3. So it's just in the cinematic pink.
I've been lucky. I'm into pink.
And Dungeon's Tale scores 4, which is a cinematic kink.
The future lies in kinky people.
Guilty!
Ah, madam.
Have you noticed? I don't give spoilers on this show. I'm not one for spoiling films. I give you a basic outline of what it's like. I want you to make up your own mind. What's the point in coming here and listening to a whole movie being spoiled? I could find a classic for you. Or, no. Who am I to recommend movies? So, what shall I watch next time? I'm feeling a good disaster movie. With a twist. And Roland Emmerich's Moonfall's just come to Amazon. So, that's it. I'm going for a lie down. That was one epic watch. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
If you would like to join Chris on his painful mission, then come and join the BDSM Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/BDS movies. Or you can contact the BDSM Dungeon by email bdsmpodmovie@gmail.com.